Title: The Prankster's Revenge. In a small high school, a notorious prankster named Max decided to take his pranks to the next level. He targeted his strict math teacher, Mr. Johnson, who had a reputation for being humorless. Max's pranks ranged from filling the classroom with balloons to replacing Mr. Johnson's coffee with hot sauce. However, when Mr. Johnson decided to turn the tables on Max, the prankster found himself at the receiving end of a hilarious revenge plan. Chapter 1: The Prankster Strikes. In the quiet halls of Lincoln High School, Max was known as the ultimate prankster. With his mischievous grin and quick wit, he had managed to pull off some of the most elaborate pranks the school had ever seen. From whoopee cushions to fake spiders, Max had done it all. But he craved something bigger, something that would leave a lasting impression. One fateful day, Max set his sights on his math teacher, Mr. Johnson. With his stern demeanor and strict rules, Mr. Johnson was the perfect target for Max's pranks. Max knew that if he could crack a smile on Mr. Johnson's face, he would have truly accomplished something remarkable. Chapter 2: The Balloon Invasion. Max's first prank on Mr. Johnson was a simple yet effective one. He decided to fill the entire classroom with balloons. Late at night, armed with a bag full of balloons and a mischievous glint in his eye, Max snuck into the classroom. He carefully inflated each balloon and placed them strategically around the room, covering every inch of the floor, desks, and even the ceiling. The next morning, as Mr. Johnson walked into his classroom, he was greeted by a sea of colorful balloons. His stern expression cracked for a moment, and a small chuckle escaped his lips. Max had succeeded in his mission to bring a smile to Mr. Johnson's face. Chapter 3: The Hot Sauce Coffee. Emboldened by his success, Max decided to up the ante. He knew that Mr. Johnson was a coffee addict, so he hatched a plan to replace his beloved morning brew with hot sauce. Max carefully brewed a fresh pot of coffee, adding a generous amount of hot sauce to the mix. He then swapped Mr. Johnson's regular coffee with his spicy creation. The next morning, as Mr. Johnson took a sip of his coffee, his eyes widened in shock. The spicy liquid burned his throat, and he coughed uncontrollably. Max watched from a distance, trying to stifle his laughter. But to his surprise, Mr. Johnson didn't get angry. Instead, he burst into laughter, realizing that he had been pranked. Chapter 4: Mr. Johnson's Revenge. Max couldn't believe his luck. Not only had he managed to prank Mr. Johnson, but the math teacher had taken it in good humor. Little did Max know, Mr. Johnson had been plotting his revenge. One day, as Max walked into the classroom, he noticed something strange. The desks had been rearranged, forming a maze-like structure. Confused, Max cautiously made his way through the maze, only to find himself trapped in the center. Suddenly, the lights went out, and Max heard a sinister laugh echoing through the room. As the lights flickered back on, Max found himself covered in a sticky, green substance. It was slime. Mr. Johnson had rigged the entire classroom to douse Max in slime as payback for his pranks. The entire class erupted in laughter, including Max himself. Chapter 5: A Prankster's Redemption. Max had finally met his match in Mr. Johnson. The prankster had been pranked, and he couldn't help but admire the math teacher's cunning revenge. From that day forward, Max and Mr. Johnson formed an unlikely alliance. They became partners in crime, pulling off pranks together that left the entire school in stitches. The once humorless Mr. Johnson had found his sense of humor, thanks to Max's relentless pranks. And Max had learned that sometimes, the best pranks were the ones that brought people together, rather than tearing them apart. In the end, Max's pranks had not only brought laughter to the halls of Lincoln High School but had also taught him a valuable lesson about the power of friendship and the importance of finding joy in unexpected places. And so, the notorious prankster and the once stern math teacher continued their hilarious escapades, leaving a legacy of laughter and mischief behind them. Thank you for watching our YouTube video. We hope you enjoyed it and found it entertaining. Before we wrap up, we would like to kindly ask you to support our channel by hitting the subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll never miss out on our latest content. Moreover, if you enjoy our creative plot ideas and would like to stay updated with new ideas for your next creation and exclusive content, we invite you to follow us on Instagram. In addition, we encourage you to visit our website, where you can find more information about our plot ideas. Your visit would mean the world to us.